LightLink, really cool chain with a lot of different features that will help a lot the adoption from businesses and indirectly all the clients, all the users. So welcome, Roy.
Thank you, Anthony. It's really cool to be here with Sebastian, Gojo, and all the other amazing projects. So thanks for having me. So for all the builders in the room, give you a really difficult puzzle to solve. And that's how you create an NFT collection with a edition size of 1 million, right? Like we talk about real world applications, bring more users on board. We have such an insular small community, right? How do we bring the next million users on and get them to do something? A million users is actually quite easy because it's all cryptography in the on-chain data. But if you want to get them to do an on-chain transaction, it's actually really, really difficult and it's going to break your bank. So that's what we're about. So thank you very much. Okay, bit of background story. So we've been building Web3 solutions for the past 6 years under the name Pella. And we've done heaps and heaps of different NFT projects, 40 to date, including the one of the really famous Portuguese artists called Vils. We built a really cool game called Red Village, a Animoca portfolio company. It's all about battle royale and NFTs fight each other and you win some money. And also a fairly well celebrated sports project called the Australian Open, where we sold digital tennis balls. And if you have a digital tennis ball, you can actually get a general admission to the actual Australian Open, so real world utility. We wanted to do this on-chain, but we couldn't because you need a native token for that to happen and for the on-chain change to happen. And that's going to cost a lot of money and it's going to be a very difficult exercise. So some clients. And okay, so I always show this graph. A year ago, talking to investors and potential large brands and stuff, look at the crazy trajectory we're on and the exponential growth you're about to have, right? But in reality, that hasn't really happened. But a lot of people, a lot of businesses saw this chart and decided to, bet their entire company on it, right? So even changed their company name. And that exponential growth never really happened. But a lot of people thought that it would, from 1,000 users to 10,000 users to 100,000 users, and eventually hundreds of millions of users. But that exponential growth hasn't happened. And in turn, we had a lot of really interesting projects building for that digital future of, maybe you can have some wearables, you can have some PFPs, and eventually you would participate using these assets in the metaverse that's about to come. But in reality, this happened, right? And we all know we're in this market, this bear market that's, hopefully it will be over next year, but who knows? It shouldn't be a big surprise because this chart actually follows something like this, which is a pretty famous, innovation hype chart because every single important innovation technology sort of goes through this hype cycle. And there was the initial euphoria, there's this initial, excitement, but eventually it pops because reality doesn't meet the excitement and we go through this correction. And I think this correction is really, really healthy because it changes that mindset of a very small insular community into mainstream adoption. And it's all about millions of users, right? Because we can't be in this insular economy, in this insular community of having tens of thousands of users, 100,000 users. It's about billions of users. How can we get everybody onto the chain? And I think that's what the dream is for everyone here, right? And that mainstream adoption is super, super important. So we have a lot of complexity in our environment, in our ecosystem that we have to deal with. And on-chain transactions are something that's really difficult to cater when we're talking about such a large audience. And this is sort of where a lot of things that we are trying to do and we're trying to implement, introduce into our solutions. So when we talk to new businesses, we try to avoid the Web3 terminology, try to keep things a little bit simple, and go, how can we turn a really complex thing into something that's easily understandable that people can use? So create simplicity so more people can be involved. And that's only by making things simpler, making things easier, we can onboard millions and millions of users, right? And that's one of the reasons why we built LightLink. It came from the need that enterprise customers, our customers really sought after. And it's a layer 2 chain on top of Ethereum, as it should, because it's the largest economy out there with the most developers, with the largest ecosystem. It's full EVM and Solidity, all the things that layer 2s have, right? But it has a unique property, which is the gasless mode. So if we're working with the Australian Open, we would whitelist their smart contract, and when you walk through that ticket gate, it's a state change, and the user doesn't need a native token for that state change to occur. So it seems really complex to understand, for the non-technical people here. But essentially, if I have USDT and USDT is part of our enterprise contracts, I can just send the USDT without the native token. And if you've done that, on MetaMask before, it's a complex exercise for, my dad or my kids or my wife to understand, right? So when we onboard millions of users, we really need that capability and that simplification. So that's LightLink. And in a lot of solutions that we do, it's all about that social credentials, being able to sign in with something a lot simpler than the cryptography that we have to understand or the 12-word seed phrases that we have to deal with. And also we try to add real-world utility. And those are a lot of things that other people spoke about. So those are the things that we're doing at LightLink, at Pella, and just trying to onboard millions and millions of users through simplification of technology. And hopefully we can work with Liteflow to onboard many of these digital assets onto the platform which we will create together. And in 2024, we'll be launching a partnership with Disney, onboarding 1.3 million users. And that's a really cool project for us to be working on. And love to talk to you guys and figure out how to collaborate and potentially introducing our technology to a project. Thank you.